You're listening to Your Music is Bad and You Should Feel Bad. I'm your host, Matt Lee, and today I am joined by my good friends Rod and Kelley, who I know mainly from the Prog Power Festival. You may remember Rod was on our Prog Power episode. And we're going to talk about some studies we found with various statistics and scientifical things relating to trends among music listeners and in musical content. Check it out and tell your friends.
Beatles catalog is now on Spotify.
Yeah, it is. I'm just been super. Maybe
in case you've never heard Yesterday's, for example.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, I've been on just like an extra cynical tear, I feel, this month. But like the whole Spotify thing, I was just like, I guess if you really like Spotify and you listen to the Beatles a lot, it's convenient. But like,
right.
So most people by now have all their records.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're that into the Beatles, you have that shit somewhere. Yeah. You already listen to the Beatles. You probably have like 5
copies, you know.
Right, and like
Well, now the one thing I wasn't sure on was, did they release the mono recordings or just the
I don't know
the thing that they did?
Yeah, they didn't really specify. They were just like, the catalog, we got it. It's like, great, you got the license. You will make money off that. The Beatles won't make money off it because they haven't owned their license or publishing or whatever for forever. So,
does Michael Jackson's estate still own it, or
I don't know. I think I saw something that in like 2018 it reverts to Paul McCartney or something. Huh. Like he gets it back, and I'm like,
interesting.
Like he cares. Like
in the 80s, Michael Jackson bought the Beatles song catalog.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. Oh, well, it went away, so I'm going to assume it's fine. Anyway, Michael Jackson bought the Beatles publishing, and it was like a Supreme Court case of significance for like teaching people about keeping their publishing rights or or the value of their publishing, right? Because everyone would get signed and be like, we keep all your publishing, and they'd be like, okay.
Yeah. That's pretty much where the money is, right?
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah. And it's also how...
or at least it was.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much anymore, but...
Yeah, and it's...
also how you can sue somebody else if if they copy your shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the more of your own rights. People didn't understand that there were different kinds of rights to their music, and they should try to own as much of them as they could. No. But they also didn't really have a choice at certain points. But anyway, yeah. So I remember hearing about that, and it was like, and remember, that's why you want to keep at least half your publishing or all of it if possible. So, okay. So we're talking about some various studies. Do you want to start with that one, or should we start with one of the like more straightforward, simple ones? Because the lyric ones are pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I go with the straightforward. I mean, we have a bunch of different types of studies. You know, we have study about profiles of music listeners. We have, it sounds like a cognitive neuroscience study. It might be good to start with something pretty straightforward and basic, right?
Like rappers or. Or actually, no, this is almost worse than because the rapper one, at least like the rapper one redeems a few examples of like quality rap, which is that's right. You were the guys who
no, that was me. That was all
Facebook
me.
Thing about
Kelly's face when she hears rap.
So he was like, oh, like why would anyone like rap? And I was like, I do like a few raps.
Yeah, well,
there are a few.
I like the Beastie Boys. Some of their catalog.
Beastie Boys make me angry.
Back in high school, I'll admit I actually listened to Public Enemy.
Oh,
yeah, I did. Fight the Power.
Indeed. All right.
But that was, the Public Enemy thing was mainly motivated by the fact that they did that recording with the Anthrax of. Bring the Noise.
They were the initial rap rock crossover. Well, so like the thing is that I realize now that I'm more accepting of rap and but I still hate most of the initial rap rock stuff. But now it's been long enough that there are examples where people are combining like types of rap and types of rock that are both better than the ones they were using. So it's like like there's this band New York.
So better than Kid Rock and Limp Bizkit.
Right, exactly.
Well, weren't you and Jamie just making this point about how most of the early rap metal hybrid bands were just really terrible metal, really terrible rap?
Exactly. Yeah.
Just put them all together and everyone just wants to kill themselves.
It's like if you want to combine, I mean, I try not to use the Pain of Salvation example because I don't want to be like the dude in Pain of Salvation raps, because people hear me like, yeah, technically he is saying words without a pitch. Really? But, oh, dude, he rapped. I try to remember if he like jokingly called it like Daniel rap or something, because it was such a. I mean, it's probably more influenced by Mike Patton, who also was one of the first white guys to be like, I'm gonna do some rapping in this, and in a metal band. So Faith No More, Mike Patton. And then Daniel kind of took that, and then the point where he really like, and this is why I appreciate what he was trying to do, but I fully understand why no one most people in America would not, is that album where he like specifically has songs about like the rap hip hop culture, right? And one of them is basically a rap song. And it sounds like a rap song, but he's just using like guitars to make like the kind of sounds. But like he totally was going for like, this sounds kind of like raps. He's rapping about how dumb rappers are. The problem is,
that's great.
But the problem is he's Swedish, and so like little,
Can not understand him the whole time.
The way he says certain things, just like it doesn't come across right, because you're like, what? And especially again, because like anyone in America, same thing like with that song that literally the same album, literally song America, where he's literally just like, you know, all this stuff about, and it was people like, some people either were like, whatever, I don't care, it's Pain of Salvation, or some people were like, how dare he, although these probably weren't people who were listening to Pain of Salvation in the first place, but Prague Power's in Atlanta, so you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
the rap capital.
Yeah. So, but also like so. But, you know, just criticizing America, and it's like, well, if you're American and you criticize America, people are kind of like, you know, at least a certain amount of people. Are
you a terrorist?
Well, but also a certain amount of people are like, well, you can, because you live here and you can say whatever you want, even if you're wrong. It's a free country. But if you're from somewhere else and you criticize America, you're just not even going to hear it. You know, there's just going to be like, where is this guy from? You know, and you can hear that he's not American. And so you're kind of like, all right,
what perspective are we getting here?
All right, Swedish guy, you know.
Well, which album was this? Because I remember
Scarsick.
Oh yeah.
So
on the board there was a lot of talk about he hates America, and this was right after 9/11.
Right. And it was because he was criticizing our response.
And he wasn't going to tour here anymore.
Which that part of it, I was just like, dude, like that's just, you're just hurting yourself. Like, which he did, which is why they're playing in the small rooms I see them play in, when they play 5 dates in the U.S. and don't make any money. But anyway, but you know, again, I was like, I agree with you, but I also, again, on that album, I'm like, I appreciate what you were trying to say, but I also, like, I hear how it's not going to connect with like Americans, because you like certain, especially like
bad timing.
The rap one especially is almost funny in some ways, with like the rap idioms that he is referencing and using and stuff, and it's just like,
any self-aggrandizing, because that's a common theme in
kind of rap, I mean, right? Because he's saying
I'm
like,
awesome and you're
like,
not.
and even on top of it, like, it's the kind of thing where like I understood it because I had a little bit of that impulse myself at one point to be like, you know, someone needs to like talk about how, you know, the rap culture, because I agree with like the rap culture is at least the mainstream perception is just what is part of what I don't like about the music in general, right? Is that it's just like,
I'm awesome, get
money,
right?
Get me laid,
and
I'm
it's
gonna
like,
get me laid tonight,
and that's it, and like, and
throw your woman in the trunk with a chainsaw, and then, you know,
right? And
it's like,
right, and like I tried to have this conversation with like Eric or someone, but like if someone who likes hip hop and you're like, this is what's wrong with hip hop, they're like, but not all hip hop is about that. And it's like,
Well,
no, but a lot of it is,
of it.
and all of it that like makes the big money just about. Like there are some other examples, but you have to look for it. You have to
Bottom
actually
jeans,
the mainstream,
boots with the
and
fur.
it's a problem across the board with the whole mainstream thing, right? That's the whole record companies, and that's because that's what sells, and so they keep pushing it, and so it's self-perpetuating. But at any rate, the point was.
You were launching into a discussion of a study about rap lyrics.
Oh, right. We actually,
lyrics.
Can I actually, before you actually do that, I just
Yes.
say one thing about the evolution into sort of rap metal. One of the reasons why in 1992 or 3 I was actually kind of excited about the idea of rap and metal together. One was because of Bring the Noise. The other was because of this movie soundtrack called Judgment Night. It was this movie which I think had Dennis Leary in it.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
Okay, so the soundtrack is killer because it combines like actual hard rock and metal bands with actual rappers, not half-ass metal bands trying to rap like Limp Bizkit or Korn or things like that. And it was really, there's a Slayer song, I think Slayer and NWA, and there's a few other really, really good tracks on it. But that was that gave me some false hope for how rap and metal might kind of converge in a positive way, and it obviously didn't work out that way for the most part.
Yeah, that's true. The one example, and I've mentioned it a few times on this podcast, which doesn't matter because they have way more fans than the podcast does. There's this New York band I know because a couple of the dudes went to University of Wisconsin, even though they're from New York, and so I like my old Mirror Black played a show. Oh, you guys don't know my old band, so I don't have to like say my old band. Mirror Black, we played a show with their old band, which I think was called Wax Machine, and that was like a rap metal kind of thing, but it was more the kind I didn't like. It was more the like '90s new metal kind of rap rock. But after the show, the dude, the guitar player, was like, "Hey man, it was great, blah blah blah," and so I remember meeting him or whatever, and but. Now, after I moved to New York, they have a new band. There's two twin brothers who are in it, Mike and Dave Machinist, and one's a drummer, one's the guitar player.
So it's right. You talked about this on the show with the Magic the Gathering band.
Yes.
Sorry, go on.
Because the reason I always bring them up is that they still are like a rap metal thing, but completely different than their old one. And the rap and the metal they're referencing is more in the kind of vein of stuff that I like. Like it's kind of more old school across the board. It's like they just shifted everything back to like kind of more of an 80s, but with a little bit of modern style. Like the hip hop side, there's a little more modern, and they have like a DJ in the band. But the metal stuff, and again, this is where I maybe I just like to bring it up because I'm trying to take credit or something. That's what I'm starting to realize. But the whole thing, exchange I had with the guy when I saw him and I came to see them finally, and he was like, I thought he was just like marketing. I thought he was just hitting people up to go to shows. And he kind of remembered meeting me or something, but I didn't realize he actually gave a shit and was like, "Hey, we played that show together," and apparently like he asked me what I was into, like guitar wise and stuff, and I told him, and he listened to it. And now I'm like, their riffs sound like actual metal riffs. It's like he actually knows, like, and he plays solos and he talks about like shredding and stuff and he does a little bit of stuff, and so it's like, and so and I'm like, wait, so are you saying that I like your music more now because you liked my music? What the
Oh my God.
Like, yeah, they're just like, blew my mind a little bit. Yeah, exactly. But I really do like their stuff now. It's pretty cool. So.
Cool.
Awesome.
Anyway, okay. So actually, the first study, before we get to the rappers, let's talk all about rap and then not talk about the rappers. How dumb is popular music? Is what the graphics on here says.
Oh, yes. I remember that.
I remember.
Let me give credit to where it's from. Seatsmart.com. Data visualizations from Seatsmart. Lyric intelligence in popular music, a 10-year analysis. So they analyzed over 10 years lyric intelligence in popular songs and rating it on like a grade level. Yes. So the pretty soon I'm gonna set up a more proper website for the podcast so I can post more detailed and organized posts in a so like here's all the stuff we talked about and blah 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 and all that. So, but for now, I'll just describe it to you. So it's from 2005. or maybe 2004 to 2014. And in 2005, the average grade level was between 3 and 3.5. And it briefly went up in 2006, but not even to 3.5. And then it kind of goes down and...
Who is that? Lady Gaga, maybe?
No, what year are we talking about?
No, she was more like 2008, I
Yeah,
want to
she's
say.
way more recent.
But basically the point is it kind of goes up and down, blah, blah, blah.
And she's more intelligent than you give her credit for, by the way.
And basically 2014, it ends at between 2.5 and 3. So like 2.75 grade level. So they also have like a, male versus female, but it's kind of like back and forth, like, which basically means it's probably irrelevant. And they do get into some genres and stuff, which we can look at, but it's really like nobody's breaking a 4th grade level.
Right.
Like in any of this. And what's this one? Word count. Average word count. Or that one actually I may not have looked at all of this before. But let's start at okay. So the obvious thing is that I remember they had a few key examples of popular people. Oh, this is my favorite part. That's surprisingly. Oh, that's horrible. In the like rock artists, Nickelback. Now, granted, like I don't know, how many. This is like they just picked out like 7 or 8 really popular examples that people would be like, oh, whoa. They didn't necessarily give you.
No,
like,
they chose Nickelback because they wanted to see how dumb they really are.
And they almost did it to show that Nickelback was higher than all of the other ones.
Certainly
Linkin
higher than
Park,
rap.
Seether, Foo Fighters was a 2.62 grade level.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Nickelback was 3.3.
Wow.
So now, although this is pop artists is pretty interesting. Lady Gaga is a 2.15 grade average.
Wow.
So Lady Gaga writes at the level of a 2nd grader.
Yep.
And like Adele 3.2. But this is the thing is like I'm not surprised.
Who's that blue bar there? Is that Adele?
The big blue bar?
The big
one,
That's Justin Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake.
What?
It's
Awesome.
3.0. But wait.
No.
But you know what that is? The bar is not for the grade level. That's for the word count.
Oh, for the
sorry,
word count.
sorry.
And the
Okay,
word
okay,
count,
okay.
and that's his is over 600.
Yeah.
So almost 700.
Wow.
So when they say word count, they mean like all of his songs, the different words, the vocabulary.
Right, I think
basically.
it's equivalent to the next study we're going to do, which is the one that was just rap and just based on like vocabulary.
Oh, okay.
But I think that's what they mean by word count is like, how many words have they used that are unique? Okay, this is interesting. Top 10 smartest songs over the last 10 years. Now, of course, this is not factoring in non-mainstream sources, I'm sure, because this is the whole issue is I'm like, you know what the actual lesson I get from most of these statistics is? You all dumb.
Yeah.
All his songs is dumb. You all writing dumbass lyrics. None of the mainstream stuff is any good.
No,
and
never is.
But that's like right. That's on purpose. It's both the way the market drives it and also the way they want the lowest common denominator because the lowest common
Sells
denominator
the most stuff.
literally applies to the most amount of people.
Right.
And then they make money.
Exactly.
So we shouldn't be surprised. But let's go through this. This is interesting. The 10 smartest songs.
You can do it in reverse order.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out which is. It's fucking Blake Shelton. Ugh.
Whoa.
He actually was number 1 on this. But again, based on
Nice.
the song is All About Tonight. And it's a 5.8 grade level.
Wow.
Yeah, almost a 6th grade level there, Blake Shelton.
Wow.
But you know what? But to be
written could be written by a middle schooler, right? That's what it means.
So the basic qualifiers are how advanced the vocabulary is, how descriptive, I guess, would be
actually
part of the word count.
Yeah, there's a few more metrics in here that they use to determine top 10 smartest songs. There's the grade level. There's the word count, which I assume is the number of. It might actually just number of words.
Song.
Yeah, I don't know if they're saying I guess that wouldn't be unique words then, because some of these songs they just repeat the same word.
Well,
like
that's what I was wondering.
Times.
I was like,
but they also have characters per word and syllables per word.
Right.
Although, I
that could get.
Yeah. But the Blake Shelton song is 5.8 grade level, 311 words, 3.9 characters per word, and 1.3 syllables per word. But the characters and the syllables and the word count are all within a fairly small range. Like they go from about 250 to mid 300s, and then it's like between 3 and 4 characters, and between 1 and 2 syllables. So those are kind of all a wash, you know.
Yeah.
It's all the same thing. Although it's interesting that let's see, that Katy Perry song "E.T." is on here as let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6th or 7th smartest song over the last 10 years. Again,
Wow.
it's like, do you understand the real problem
Wow.
is your sample set?
Right.
Yeah.
Is that what you need to take away from this entire study is that there's something
Pop
wrong with
music,
popular music.
Right.
Mainstream
And
music sucks.
If you hear it in a commercial or on the radio, you maybe need to look for other sources.
Right.
If you only absorb music because it gets thrown in your face, then you need to like look for better
Put some
music.
effort into it.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Right. Well, can I...
Simple as opening Spotify.
as a question, I mean, do they do an analysis to compare the grade level of today's popular music with the grade level of, say, the 60s or 70s or 80s? Because that would be interesting to actually confirm that
That would actually.
it's gone down or
Right.
up, sadly.
They, you know what? They don't
Yes.
they
Yeah,
don't in
that
this
would be-
one. Because this was specifically over a 10-year period. I don't know why. I don't know why they wouldn't just throw, you know what I mean? Like throw in data of older stuff too.
Well, you know, I remember when I was in high school, we did, in one of my English classes, 10th grade English class, we did Sympathy for the Devil, Rolling Stones, as a poetry exercise.
Yeah.
So, you know, and that has a lot of 4-syllable words in it,
Well,
right?
And I'm sure some of the later Beatles stuff, and I know there's some Beach Boys stuff because some of it like literally was they hired a poet, Van Dyke Parks, to write lyrics and stuff. So the lyrics, you know, the crazier Brian Wilson stuff, the lyrics were getting kind of interesting too. And that's the thing. I do think and I think even the 70s, because 70s when prog rock was kind of big. Yeah, Zeppelin was all about it was all about poetry and shit, and like Yes and Rush and
Rush
in
right.
high school. Yeah, I think it's high school. Oh shit. Yeah. So there's gonna be some noise because they're renovating the apartment next door.
Oh.
Okay.
But if we close the windows, we will sweat and be too hot. So we'll take a little noise. It sounds like it's fairly low compared to the anyway, deal with it. But yeah, like I brought a I forget we did the poem Kubla Khan in my English class.
Okay.
So I brought in the Rush song Xanadu, which it's based on, right? It's like inspired by that poem. It's like a song based on it. And I was like, this Rush song is based on this poem? It's so cool. Can we listen to it? And like, we did. And I thought it was awesome. And everyone else was like, you're a dork. Anyway, but so yeah, so like that's right, and that's you know, prog rock it'd be interesting to just actually have like a comparison of prog rock to like mainstream rock kind of thing. It
really would, yeah.
Porcupine Tree and stuff like that. I'm sure.
You know, and I'm sure like at the same time, there's a point of diminishing returns where when prog gets kind of up its own ass, where like you could probably find examples that are like full of huge, opaque words that people are gonna have to look up, and yet it doesn't mean anything. Like it's just nonsense than trying to be over descriptive and shit.
And then you got some of the symphonic metal bands that'll use Latin in conjunction with their music, which can actually be pretty cool if you want to go to the effort to knowing what the Latin is. If you come from a classical music background, it's kind of cool.
It was cool until it was on like 50 different albums,
exactly,
and like every like pseudo prog power
2001, 2002
has to start with some Latin choral piece,
right? Which I think isn't Blind Guardian back to doing that? Didn't they open? Isn't their new stuff kind of like?
There's still there's their new stuff is kind of
some like hymns.
Yeah, I mean it sounds like I think the newest one because I only listened to it like
it's proggy.
Once. Yeah, I mean it sounded like they were trying to go back to the sweet spot.
Right. Yeah,
because I was basically like Nightfall in Middle Earth, was the best thing they ever did. And then like the one after I liked at the time, it was okay. But in retrospect now, I've just either listened to Nightfall or maybe actually the one before it, Imaginations from the Other Side, is actually really good.
Yeah.
But that was when there was more. It was still about the metal.
Yeah.
And then they just got like they just went. Nightfall and Middle Earth is the perfect sweet spot, and then they go overboard, and then they go more overboard, and now they're kind of just trying to like get back.
Get back. Yeah.
But they've hit that point where it's kind of cool, but it kind of just again sounds like it's like one of those more of the same things.
Yeah.
So, but the newest one, I was like, well, if I was inclined to listen to a new Blind Guardian album for an extended period of time, I might actually listen to this one. But then I was like, but I'd rather just listen to Nightfall.
Right.
If I feel like going to Middle Earth.
Right. So lyrical content aside, do they make any points about? No, I'm sorry, not the lyrical content, but the word count, the syllable count, things like that. Do they make any points about what they're actually singing about as an indicator of intelligence? Because I'm thinking of the kids my age who learned about history listening to Iron Maiden, who are singing about things like the Charge of the Light Brigade and stuff that we got covered in world history. Right.
I think stuff like that, like I don't think they have any analysis for it, but I think it's pretty easy for us to like draw the comparison. I mean, this was. It makes me think of another thing that bugs me with a lot of modern stuff is that, and especially happens, I think it started in hip hop and then other people just kind of jumped onto it, is that is using a lot of your metaphor and simile are just references to things from like 5 minutes ago, right? So like you're trying to make all these like blah blah blah, like blah blah blah, but all of your references are like a dude who had a hit a week ago, and so like he's not even like, it's one thing if you're referencing something from a few years ago, but it's like not even like the span got so narrow that you're just dating yourself to right now, and so in a week it's going to sound dated.
Nobody's comparing themselves to FDR anymore.
Right. You're not. You can take this isn't historical context. It's just that they literally was just like, and I think that's part of what it is that literally is, and again I think that's why I started in rap. Is that it literally, you have to make so many rhymes and say so many lyrics that in a lot of cases it just becomes, I got to fill in space. And then it's like,
it becomes nonsense.
And since it's just more running on the same theme of saying how cool I am or whatever. So you're just like, well, I'm going to compare myself to all these. Right, exactly.
Not really saying anything useful. They're not really saying anything philosophical, meaningful, except that, hey, I'm cool. And
educational.
Well, and when you see a lot of, I mean, again, this is... generalizing, there are examples of more thoughtful rap out there, but my experience so far,
doesn't that go to the category of R&B though? Then if that is,
well, no, if it's specific, if they're rapping though, no, I mean like people rapping with like a point. It exists. Okay,
is there a progressive rap genre that I'm not aware of or something?
Well, the closest thing, this is the thing I'm fascinated with right now, is that right now Kendrick Lamar is like the progressive rapper. Now I looked into this. There's this YouTube channel. I was looking for other, like, who else actually is like talking about music, like on a podcast or whatever. And one of the biggest ones I found, there's a thing called Dead End Hip Hop on YouTube. It's almost exactly the same format as our podcast, only they have video and they just talk about hip hop. But they're pretty much the same thing. They have like several people. They actually do video, but you just go around and talk about like I found one where they were like, "What's up with like conscious hip hop? Is it ever going to come back? Or would it ever be popular?" And it confirmed my theory, which is that conscious hip hop is what they mean by hip hop that's not just about money and hoes and whatever, guns and like trying conscious, like it's conscious, right? And I was like, it's funny that you have to have a word for that. Although I think it's an appropriate word, and it's funny because we don't have a term. We don't think of that in like. I mean, I guess we say progressive in rock, right? We have rock. It's progressive. Lyrics could be progressive, but you can still have.
There's no homogeneity of lyrical content in rock like there is in rap.
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, that's true. There is a trend of like there, but the thing is, what I want to say is there is an equivalent in rock. There's a equivalent dumb generic rock lyric,
right?
Yeah,
we don't have like a term for it necessarily.
Oh, there is everywhere. I mean, it's like just like there's the certain type of lyric that's involved in power metal. Fantasy dragons. That's what everyone thinks when you think power metal. You think, oh, we got dragons and
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's the
Middle
big
Earth
dumb,
and,
the big dumb rock song.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. So that's what they're I mean like, well, I mean they culturally, just to be clear, since we're talking about hip hop, because I appreciate that, even though I appreciate some hip hop and I have listened to some of it on purpose. I'm still an outsider learning about it, and so I'm approaching it as like, tell me about. I don't want to over jump on my judgments, jumping past like properly understanding stuff. And so that's why for a minute there I was like, Kendrick Lamar seems to be the one people keep saying is like literally there's saying he's gonna like save hip hop because people appreciate it. And that's what this one podcast or video segment I watched was. They were talking about like, are more people going to get it? Because he's talking about like culturally relevant things. He's from like LA,
Sure.
and it's there's racial stuff and all kinds of stuff, and and so and on top of that, also I guess about like his kind of becoming famous and dealing with that and like the kind of bullshit that comes with that and everything. And I mean that's a common theme, but he seems to be commenting on it in a more meaningful way. And like
Right.
having listened to some of his stuff so far, I'm like, it seems to be true. Like that was the thing. I was like, I want to check it out, see if it's actually, because just because people are like, oh, you know what's really amazing. Sometimes I'm like, oh, is it? Oh, is it? Let's.
Right.
We'll see.
I know.
We'll see
I
about
know.
that. Like.
I look at people askance when they say stuff.
Yeah, but the interesting thing, and
Really think so.
this is actually where more like another term almost comes in, is that his newest album, a lot of people are talking about how it's got more instruments and stuff. It's more. Some of the people he worked with on it are partly responsible for that. Like this dude Thundercat is an amazing bass player who
Thundercat.
Yeah, he goes by
Nice.
Thundercat, but he's responsible for a lot of apparently a lot of stuff in hip hop, but he actually plays. He's like a ridiculous. Like I don't know if he went to Berkeley or if I'm just associating him with it because he worked with Eric Andre at some point. I think he went to Berkeley, but the point is the dude plays like a 6-string. Like semi-hollow bass, and he fucking shreds. Like it'll be like a hip hop, kind of more like a neo soul kind of thing actually.
Okay.
But he just tears it up. He's ridiculous. And
So relative
and
to Victor Wooten, for example,
same wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just he just happens to be like working in hip hop, and so you don't know because in hip hop, the only person who gets credit is the rapper,
Right.
and kind of sometimes producers, but they got to go make a big noise about
is what you're
yeah,
saying,
yeah, exactly. And I actually need to check out more of his stuff. Which is more, and that's the thing. So what they're calling it is more like neo soul because the actual music, when it breaks out of that like, little beat loop box, and you actually have more musicians, it's kind of
Right.
more like soul. And even if he's rapping on it, then that's just the vocal style, right? I mean, there was even almost rap in like jazz at points, like you can there's different types of music where you have little bits of, like we were talking on the one I was editing last night, we were talking about Rich was saying how the second Viennese school of Schoenberg, Weber and Berg basically invented rap because they had like rhythmic spoken parts in their operas or whatever. And so so that's another issue I have with rap and hip hop is the labeling, right? Is between rap and hip hop and R&B and yeah. But that's a whole other thing. So with that in mind, let's look at that study because there is the one on rap lyrics. Rappers sorted by size of their vocabulary. Yeah, so this one was kind of like a graphic, but it still has it's a number of unique words used within an artist's first 35,000 lyrics.
Huh.
And it ranges from the first kind of example hits around the 3,000 word mark, and then at the very top is over. Oh, who's this guy way at the top here? Aesop Rock is the top with 7,392 unique words used. And then right below him is Jizza. It's basically all Wu-Tang.
Right.
Most of this top little, like, there's like a little cluster like way at the top of the graph, and then a huge, like, almost predictable, like,
Yeah, there's
like diamond-shaped clump. Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out what the vertical axis.
Where's Nicki Minaj?
I'm not sure if the vertical axis is supposed to even mean anything on here, but I think it just means like quantity, because like there's that many of them, so it spreads out vertically.
Right.
But it's relevant because it shows like a predictable shape for the average, right? Like this is like the average zone of where most of rap collects and people copy, and because everyone learns.
So what is the
imitating.
average again?
So the average seems to peak around 4,500 words.
4,500.
Yeah.
A little under 5,000, and then if like 1,400 more than that is the little like Wu-Tang cluster of like and a few other examples. I know E40 is in there somewhere because he's a guy who for some reason he has a super unique like inflection. What? Oh, I don't know if you ever heard of E40. I may have to play you a song just because I think it's funny. He's like really like this kind of thing. Like that's kind of the way he pronounces his words, and like it's just way more interesting to listen to. Like he doesn't. It's not purely comical though. Like he does it well. Like he was on a huge amount of the hip hop I listen to as a middle class white person is comedy rap, like The Lonely Island. And so, but they're actually into rap, right? And they actually make good beats. So, anyway, but the point is like E40 was on a Lonely Island song and it was awesome. And it was the Santana DVX song, which is entirely about the champagne that Santana actually produced. Because he did. A lot of people make wine.
Right.
Yeah.
Megadeth has coffee or something. Yeah.
Iron Maiden has beer.
Well, Santana is specifically known for women's shoes and his champagne, the Santana DVX. So they did a song about it, which is amazing. And it's basically like talking about how badass it is. And then at some point, E40 shows up and they're like, Carlos Santana. He plays Carlos Santana in the song. He's like, what's up? I see you bitches is enjoying my sparkling wine. It's amazing. And then he starts rapping as Santana, and it's just ridiculous.
Wow.
And it's one of those, it's like, I won't describe it any further. But
So who's the genius all the way over there on the left at the lowest end of the word scale?
Oh, wow. DMX. DMX at
Where's Drake?
3,200 unique words. Oh, you know what? Drake is like two dudes up at 3,500.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Drake. I need to do like an in-depth Drake analysis because I don't understand. I partially understand why people like him, but I really don't understand.
What would you do for the other hour and a half of the episode?
Well, I mean, I need to understand why, like the core of why, like how he's fooling people. Like what's the trick? Because I think it's so awful, and yet people just loves it. Yeah. I mean, I have some theories, but I gotta look into it more. Let's see if.
You're getting these sounds of New York on this podcast.
Oh yeah, well, like there was another episode. Like as I was editing, I tweeted, the sirens in the background are a feature. Okay, this is you're getting a unique, vicarious New York experience. You get to feel like you're in New York City,
right?
Through the various screams and sounds in the background. But do we want to start talking a little bit about the one you were looking at?
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about that one. So I forget who sent this to me or where I probably just saw it on Facebook. It's probably something that came up just because of my likes and whatnot. It's actually, even though I sent it to you the other day, it's actually a fairly old study. Mm-hmm. Even the byline of the news article was 2008, so I'm assuming the study may have been a little bit earlier than that. And it's one of these things where I'm actually, like most studies that are cited in the popular press, you can't easily access the study because it's behind a paywall. So I can't go in and actually look at, how he did all this stuff. The story is about how classical and heavy metal listeners have very similar personality profiles. Mm-hmm. Okay. Introverted, high self-esteem, at ease with themselves, stuff like that. But if you dig a little deeper into some of the other stories about it, it actually shows that the study, which was of 36,000 people, included listeners from a variety of different walks of life. So not just metal and classical. And they included people who listen to rap and people who listen to other genres, jazz and things like that. So some of the interesting, I thought a few things that were really interesting about this study. First, that to me, this was really the reason why I sent it to you. To me, the idea that classical and metal fans have similar personality profiles just fits mostly with what I've come to recognize among my peers in the metal community. And that would be the people who go to prog shows.
Yeah.
But, I've also been to Maryland Death Fest.
Yeah.
So, and that they didn't, those metal fans maybe are a little different.
Yeah. I think we as metal fans know and almost take for granted the sort of, the different types of metal fans we encounter. Like we're like, oh yeah, well of course there's obviously the dudes who like, there's obviously different elements of metal that appeal to different people in different ways, but one of them is that purely as an aggressive form of music, there's some people who are just there because it's aggressive.
Aggressive.
And they're like, I
want to feel manly.
Yeah. I want to feel like I'm fighting a dude. And when I hear this music in my brain, it feels like I'm fighting a dude.
Right. You go
awesome.
You go to a Cannibal Corpse concert or a Slayer concert.
I want to go to a show and I want to actually fight a dude.
I want to actually fight someone and someone comes out with a bloody lip and a concussion.
A great example is there was this one dude, and he went to Prague Power at least once, and I saw him at least one show in the Midwest. Like I saw him in Chicago, and I think I saw him in Prague Power and in Chicago at the Symphony X Blind Guardian show. This was a tour like 2000, I don't know, mid 2000s. And I knew it was the same dude because he was a big dude, and he was that dude who, like, at a Symphony X show, even Blind Guardian, like maybe the early Blind Guardian when they were kind of more like a thrash band, but even then it's like, this is not that kind of show. And he was clearly like, come on, why aren't people moshing with me? And everyone's just like,
everyone's
no,
like,
thank
no.
you. Like, and so people were into it, but they were just like, whoa. And he was also just like, wait, like
well, there's a way to mosh, and then there's a way to like jump around when you're with your shirt off and your sweat is going everywhere and sloshing on people.
Well, like,
and then there's, kind of bobbing in one place and kind of jostling with your friends a little bit. Different kind of mosh too.
Right. And like, look at like at Heavy Montreal, when Meshuggah came on, I was like, where do I go to not be in the pit?
Oh god,
the pit could be anywhere because
can start anywhere.
It is that, and Meshuggah's another great example of that, right? It's some people are into it because it's very cerebral music, but some people are into it just because it's the most like brutal, like primal, thing,
rhythmic,
right.
So it's kind of like he was acting like he was at a Meshuggah show, but it was Blind Guardian and Symphony X, and I don't remember what band I saw him at.
That's a very odd place.
At Prague Power. It might have also been like Blind Guardian or something, or like Symphony X. It might have been one of the same bands that he came to see at Prague Power. But either way, he stuck in my mind as like 5 orders of magnitude more aggressive than everyone else in the crowd.
Right.
He looked like he was at the wrong show, and he was visibly angry that people wouldn't engage him.
Yeah.
And I think one of these he got thrown out. I think he probably got thrown out of the Blind Guardian Symphony X show. And I think I only heard about it because I read a review online where somebody else talked about the same guy.
What year was this?
This was, it had to be like 2000, like I want to say like 4.
Okay.
It was like the first time Blind Guardian toured the US.
Okay. So Symphony X was probably doing their, Paradise Lost? Or...
It was probably
the Odyssey.
Yeah, it was probably the Odyssey.
Yeah, I don't. The Odyssey's not a good time. Not.
Or it might have been. I'm trying to think when they actually, because it was one of the bigger tours they had done too. It was before they were regularly touring the U.S. even, or at least more than like regionally. So they were both like. I mean, it was a decent sized show because it was in Chicago. So people came, and they didn't come to Milwaukee or Madison. So I went down to Chicago because you couldn't see them anywhere else other than Prague Power.
Right.
And it was, Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. It was either the Odyssey or it might have just been after 5 or whatever, but somewhere around there.
Now, I'm not much of a mosher myself. I generally don't have anything against
me
it.
neither.
So
But
like I said, my whole thing was like assess and then extract. I'm just trying to get to the point where I can just stand and listen.
But there are shows where you
really
like,
want to get into the music.
Why are people trying to mosh to this?
Yeah,
exactly.
So
one shocking experience that Kyle and I had. I totally did not expect the mosh pit to break out here. We went to Gamma Ray here in New York in 2006, and we were standing like 3 rows from the stage, unaware that as soon as Gamma Ray came on, it was going to break out into a mosh pit. I totally did not expect that. I was like, it's power metal.
Where was this?
Who moshes to power metal? I don't understand. Or I didn't. I mean, I get it a little better now.
Was that Prague Power?
No, this was here in New York. It was at
Yeah.
BB King's. I don't think is it still called BB's?
Yeah,
it
BB
is.
King's
Okay.
still there.
Oh, that's where we saw Meshuggah.
Oh,
Right? Last year?
no, that was the PlayStation Sony Best Buy Theater.
Oh, okay.
Or no, sorry, PlayStation Nokia Best Buy Theater. It's changed names multiple times in the last few years. It's now PlayStation. It used to be Best Buy. Before that was so now we call it the PlayStation Nokia Best Buy Theater.
So I think when you grow up with metal and you grow up going to shows, depending on what types of shows and types of metal that you were into as a high schooler or adolescent, sometimes the whole mosh pit thing can be a thing you did when you were younger. And then later on, you're standing in the back, you're bobbing your head, and you're looking at the mosh pit finally like, oh, those were the days.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, once you get to a certain age, it's kind of hard to do that.
Right. Well,
unless you're really into the band. And then, like we said, there are different kinds of mosh pits. You know, like I saw the weirdest mosh pit. I went to Alluviate, last December, I think. And I saw the weirdest, I guess it was a pit, but they were like in a line, almost like a conga line, and everyone was like galloping in a circle. And I was like, what is this? I was like, mosh pits are different now.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe on iTunes or yourmusicisbad.com. Follow me on Twitter at @theonetrueMatt. Email us at hatemail@yourmusicisbad.com. And check us out next time. I'm turning it off now.